In the last year that we gave, we spoke about the Shavuos talich that we have going from Purim to Pesach, um, Sfiras Omer to Shavuos, and going from Madrega to Madrega to Madrega, going up and up and up. And that we spoke about the idea that if you stop going up, you stop the talich from going up, then you're going to go down. There's only two directions. There's only up and down. If you stop going up, then you're going to go down. And we mentioned that halacha at the end of Shemona Esrei, we take 3 steps backwards and we do it with our left foot because that shows that it's hard to leave. And if it's hard to leave, then that is the beginning of the Yeshua. That is showing something very, very special. But what is it showing? Why is it so special? Why does the Gemara Yuma say that if you don't take those 3 steps backwards, that it's better you didn't daven at all? So I'd like to share with you a story that I once heard from a very chashuv yid who was in the shtetl. And he said in the shtetl, when the Jews were leaving the shtetl to go to the Golden Medina, that's the United States of America, where they assumed that the streets were paved with gold, he said there was a special minhag when a Jew would leave the shtetl. Let's say there are 100 people in the shtetl, all 100 people would take him to the gate of the city. And then when they got to the gate of the city, yeah, his close friends and family would take him to the train. When he got to the train, his close relatives would take him to the boat. But there was only one person who went with him to the boat, and that was his wife. Yeah? And at that point, they could be leaving each other for 10, 15, 20 years until he made enough money to bring his wife over to the Golden Medina. Yeah? And it was a point of departure for 10, 15, 20 years. And they had an expression in the shtetl in Yiddish. They used to say like this. I don't know much Yiddish, but they used to say, Su schwer scheiden, nicht scheiden. If it's hard to leave, you don't leave. Because at that very moment of departure between the husband and wife, at that very moment, if it was difficult for them to leave, if it was hard to leave, then that bond would remain with them for the next 10, 15, 20 years. And it would bond the relationship between them. Yeah? And this is the beginning of what we have to keep in mind as we leave the Yontiv of Shavuos, as we leave this talich, this process of Purim, Pesach, Sfiras Omer, and Shavuos, and we move into a new dimension. I want to share with you a beautiful Rabbeinu Yonah. The halacha is the Gemara says in Salach and Shulchan Aruch, Amar Rav Chalba, it's Gemara in Brachos Avavam and Beis. Amar Rav Chalba, Amar Rav Huna, Hayotzi mi Beis HaKnesses, Al Yivsia Psia Gasa. Al Yivsia Psia Gasa. Amar Rabbi, Lo Amar El Lamefik, Aval Amail, Mitzvah Lamar, Nemer, near the Das Hashem. It's forbidden, it's prohibited when you leave a Beis Medrash or a Beis Knesses, or Beis Medrash, to walk out quickly. Right? And why is that? So explains Rabbeinu Yonah in the Gemara there. He says, Hatam shenira kamishi yotzim min haterech el hamenucha. It looks like if you take more big steps out of shul, out of the Beis Medrash, it looks like you're going from something hard to something restful, to menucha. And that's really the opposite, says Rabbeinu Yonah. Shebeis knesses hu beis tefillah, hu hamenucha. When a person is sitting in a Beis Medrash, he should be b'simcha rabbi, simcha tzuma. V'chein amar Zal, ki lo basam ad ata ala menucha v'ala nachla. Menucha zeh shila, nachla zu Yerushalayim. Right? These places, the Beis Hamikdash, where we're sitting here right now, and Yerushalayim, that's called menucha and nachla. Because the ultimate menucha and nachla, says Rabbeinu Yonah, is the Beis Knesses or Beis Medrash, where you're davek to Dvar Hashem. We're clinging to Hashem's words. Yeah? And this is really the key, how to leave the Yontiv of Shavuos and to make the transition into following days where we don't have Purim, we don't have Pesach, we don't have Sfiras Omer, we don't have Mitzvah Shavuos. Yeah? Now, if we think about it, right, there's really only one mitzvah on Shavuos. The minhag, stay up all night learning, it's a fairly recent minhag that started apparently with the Beis Yosef. The Shlomo brings that started with the Beis Yosef. First day of Shavuos, night of Shavuos, they learned in the Chabur together. Baskol came out, it says the next night if you do it with a minyan, it'll be even more nachas ruach to the Shechina, so they did it with a minyan. Yeah. But the real mitzvah of Shavuos is brought in Psachim Dasam Mechesim Abeis. Amar Elazar, Kol Modim Batzeres, Tabina Nami Lechem. You need to enjoy it. You need to have simcha. My time a Yom Shanasu Bater. It's the day the Torah is given. So since the day the Torah is given, you have to have simcha. Why, says Rashi, a beautiful Rashi over here, on Samachesem and Bezim Psachim, he says, Yismach b'meichel mishpa, l'haris shenoyach u'makubal yom zel Yisrael, shnas l'Torah bo. You have to show it's a pleasant, exciting, vibrant, enjoyable day the Torah is given. Yeah? In other words, exactly the opposite of what Klal Yisrael did on Har Sinai. On Har Sinai, they ran away like a Tinach Shem Baruch and Beit Sefer, right? They weren't happy to be there, right? Or like the guy who runs out of shul. He's not showing that it's a makom menucha, shul, right? On Shavuos, we have to be sameach with Michael and Mishta to show that it's noyach u'makubal yom zel Yisrael, shnas Torah. By doing that, by making a shmak Shavuos with cheesecake and all sorts of madanim, yeah. So we show that this is where we really want to be. Yeah? The mitzvah after Shavuos is to take that element of Shavuos. Yeah? Take that element of Shavuos, of the nachla u'menucha, yeah? Of the simcha of Torah, of the simcha of having the Torah, and take it into our everyday lives. Right? If we can take that simcha and show, go to a base medrash, go to base classes, don't leave quickly, enjoy your time in the base medrash, right? When you take 3 steps back after Shemona Esrei, do it slowly. Realize it's like pulling you away from the greatest pleasure in life, to be connected to the Borei Olam. If you could do that, then that means, number one, you had a successful Shavuos, yeah? And number two, you'll fight off, you'll push off the tuma that inevitably comes when you have a stalkus from Kedusha. Because that is the trufa. That is the remedy to the Kedusha leaving. The remedy to the Kedusha leaving is to be b'simcha rabbah, yeah? To be b'simcha tzuma when you learn Torah. Because it's such a precious gift. If we understood what Torah was, we would be singing and dancing. Yeah? The Chazon Ish says that even when you say the words Amar Abaye, right, you will be filled, we would be filled with joy. We're filled with the greatest pleasure that we have the Torah. And that's the avodah after Shavuos. Right? We can't make every night Rosh Shavuos. Most of us, at least, can't stay up every single night, the whole night, learning Torah. Right? And we don't have 49 days of Sfiras Omer every month. And we don't have Purim, we don't have Pesach. But what do we have? Yeah? We have the Simcha of Torah, the Simcha of Tefillah. When you finish a Shemona Esrei, when you take 3 steps back, with your left foot, make it hard to leave. Remember the words of Rabbeinu Yonah, yeah? That Siyagasi, don't take big steps, take small steps. It should be hard to leave shul. It should be hard to leave the base medrash. To close the Gemara should be like the most difficult avoda, ain't you, in the world, that you have to close the Gemara and leave the thing. If we do that, then we are connecting to the true Kedusha of Shavuos. And again, every day of the year is not Shavuos, yeah? But every day of the year, we can have that simcha, and we can have that menucha that we were meant to show on Shavuos, yeah? Hakol modim shmi nami lechem, yom shenastim b'Torah. Every single day, we can be mikabel the Torah again with fresh, right? As it said, we say every day in Kriya Shema, Hayoy, yeah? Every day in Kriya Shema we say, Hayoy. Hayah, im Shema Tishma, who's supposed to Asher Anochi Nitzav Etzchem Hayoyim. Chazal tells Hayoyim, like it was given today. It's the first time you ever heard the Torah. It's so sweet, it's so fresh, it's so new, it's so exciting. Yeah? And this is the most way we're supposed to live Torah, right? With the vibrance, with the joy, with the gishmak. Yeah? If we do that, then we've had a successful Shavuos, and we'll take Shavuos with us through the whole year, and we'll be living the Torah and living the Kedusha. Hashem should help us to reach this very high Madrega. Amen.